The year is 605 BC. The city of Jerusalem has just been sacked and the temple of God is burning. Amidst the chaos, a young Hebrew boy named Daniel is taken captive to Babylon. Fast forward 25 years. Daniel now serves the Babylonian king, Nebuchadnezzar, and has risen to become one of the most influential men in the kingdom. But Babylon is growing arrogant, and the worship of the golden calf is becoming widespread. King Nebuchadnezzar is so enamored with the idol that he makes it a law that everyone must bow down to it. So let's take a moment to meet the three friends. They are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men refused to bow. They were thrown into a fiery furnace at 900 degrees Fahrenheit, an event that would be known throughout history as the burning of the three holy ones. This is a story about the strength of conviction, the courage to defy an empire, and the unwavering commitment to worship one true God. So stay tuned as we continue to explore the book of Daniel and uncover the secrets of this fiery furnace. Have you ever heard the story of the three Hebrews who refused to bow down to a golden idol? Well, here's how it went down. Nebuchadnezzar II, king of Babylon, was a man on a mission. He wanted to build an empire that would last forever, and he thought that starting a religion would do the trick. I mean, if everyone worshipped the same God, then everyone would be united, right? So he built a giant golden statue over 90 feet tall and made it a god. Then he invited all the people of his empire to come and worship it. Now, most people were happy to comply, but not everyone. Three Jewish men named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow down to this new god. And when the king found out, he got really angry. He threw them into a furnace at 900 degrees Fahrenheit. And somehow they survived unscathed. And that's why. This is the story of the three men who defied an empire. The day of dedication dawned hot and clear. Thousands gathered, all dressed in their finest clothes, ready to worship the king's new god. Soldiers lined the perimeter, spears at the ready. The air grew thick with incense and the smell of oil and sweat. And in the center stood the golden image, radiant and terrible. A single trumpet blast, then another. The ground itself seemed to vibrate. And as the melody swelled, the crowd fell, one by one, all except three. They remained standing, not defiantly, but quietly. Their names were Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And in their quiet stood the answer to the king's pride. For when the king asked them why they did not worship the golden image, Shadrach replied, "We do not need to answer you in this matter. Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us. But even if he does not, know this, O king, we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." Nebuchadnezzar's face darkened. In the eyes of the empire, there was no neutrality. To stand was to resist. And so the king commanded that they be thrown into the furnace, 7 times hotter than usual. And as the flames leaped and roared, the three men prayed, "Oh, God, save us from the burning fiery furnace. If it is possible, let it be done. But if not, let our deaths be a testimony to your power. Oh, God, for we are in your hands." For a moment, silence, then murmurs, then gasps. Because through the cracks in the furnace door, people began to see something impossible. The three men were not dead, walking freely, calmly, as if strolling through a garden. And they were not alone. Tall, radiant, glowing with a light that outshone the flames. His presence was majestic, otherworldly. The flames danced around him, but did not touch him. He walked beside the three, speaking with them, protecting them. He looks like a son of the gods. Even Nebuchadnezzar staggered to his feet, eyes wide with terror and awe. That fourth man, he looks like the Son of God, he whispered. He rushed to the furnace door and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come forth." The furnace doors burst open. Not a thread of their garments scorched. Their clothes were intact. Their faces were serene. And the fourth man? He vanished. No one saw where he went, but everyone knew something divine had happened, not in pride, but in worship. He declared to all the people, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him and set aside the king's command and yielded their bodies rather than serve and worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree. Any people, nation, or language that speaks anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be torn limb from limb, and their houses laid in ruins, for there is no other God who is able to rescue in this way. Then he promoted the 3 men to higher positions in Babylon. And for the first time in history, a pagan king acknowledged the supremacy of the God of Israel. That night, in the quiet of their chambers, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego sat together. No celebration, no boasting, just stillness. They lit a small oil lamp and stared into its flame, small, flickering, yet persistent. Meshach broke the silence. "I thought I would die today." Shadrach nodded. "I did too." Abednego smiled faintly. "But we didn't. And not because we were brave, because he was with us." They remembered the moment the ropes burned away, the fire that surrounded them like a living shield, the voice deep, peaceful, that said, "Fear not, I am with you." They had felt his presence more clearly in the furnace than in any temple, and yet they had not known he would come. That was the miracle, not that God rescued them, but that they were willing to die for him, even if he didn't. That was the essence of true faith, not a transaction, "I obey, so you save me," but a declaration, "I belong to you, whether I live or die." You won't believe what happened next. The news of the miracle spread faster than flame. Across Babylon, people whispered of the 3 Jews who walked in fire and emerged untouched. Mothers told their children. Slaves repeated the story in hushed tones. Even the priests of Marduk grew uneasy. Something had shifted. The king had bowed, metaphorically speaking, to a foreign god. And the people began to wonder, if he can walk in fire, what else can he do? In the weeks that followed, conversions began. Not en masse, but quietly. A scribe here, a soldier there, a merchant who stopped praying to idols and started reading scrolls about Yahweh. The furnace had become a pulpit, and the message was clear. There is a God who sees, who hears, who delivers, who walks with you through your darkest hour. But not everyone was convinced. The Chaldean magicians plotted in secret. They resented the king's newfound reverence. They feared losing influence, so they began spreading rumors. The fire was not hot that day. The king imagined the 4th man. They were never in real danger. Doubt crept in like smoke. And then, a strange thing happened. People started visiting the furnace. Not to mock, not to gawk, but to pray. They came at dawn and dusk. Some brought offerings. Others simply stood before the scorched doors and whispered, "God of Shadrach, hear me." Years passed. Nebuchadnezzar died. His empire weakened. Persia rose. Babylon fell. But the story of the fiery furnace endured. It was told in synagogues, written in scrolls, passed down through generations. During the Maccabean revolt, Jewish rebels facing torture recited the words of Shadrach. "Even if he does not deliver us, we will not deny him." When Christians were thrown to lions in Rome, they sang psalms, remembering the 4th man in the fire. Martin Luther, standing before the Holy Roman Emperor at Worms, echoed their courage. "Here I stand. I can do no other." Corrie ten Boom, in a Nazi concentration camp, whispered to her sister, "God is in the furnace with us." And today, when a believer faces cancer, persecution, betrayal, when the flames rise and the world demands compromise, someone somewhere remembers. 3 men stood when all others knelt. They chose faith over fear, and God walked with them through the fire.